good to be alive. Good to be alive. Yeah, it's good to be alive. And we all want to see you thrive. Hang on for the ride. This is Paul Vibes, bringing you a spiritual flow and information that can remedy the soul. A man for the people. Message in a bottle, but he threw it in a podcast. Now it's full throttle. Life is never hollow. But if you ever feel twisted or need to be lifted, yo, my man is gifted.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Hey man, this is your second podcast in a row with me.
It's don't let it.
You're gonna have to start hosting them here now.
Yeah. Listen, I think you guys
You good, man. You got good energy. You got good vibe. We just had you on with your father, and it was awesome. We talked about Danny, your brother, and now we're here to talk about your entrepreneur, your business life, what you've been doing to keep busy. You have a really cool concept as a business. I'm happy to have you on and talk about it.
Cool, man. Thanks. I'm
Welcome.
happy to be here. This is fun. Yeah. Where should I start?
Where do you want to start? Where did the inspiration first come where you really got into doing the work you do? Like, well, I always like to start with that.
So I have always felt a natural inclination to instinctively, I guess, and automatically and quickly want to reteach any knowledge that I obtain. Any realizations, anything I learned like traditionally through books, but mostly through my own experience. When I learned something through my own experience, I want to just
share.
I want to share.
That's important.
So when I became a coach, so I opened a gym right out of college, a CrossFit gym, CrossFit Long Island, and it was a chance for me to embrace that, and I had full freedom, which was really cool. Anyone knows anything about the CrossFit model? It's not a typical
Like cookie cutter vibe.
No,
it's cool.
you basically every decision is yours. So I had my first opportunities to have this real creative freedom, creative expression, and be a real entrepreneur, and emphasize innovation, which I love. I kind of geeked out on like business innovation and things like that, and teaching. But more importantly, I stepped into the role as a teacher, and a coach, and that was kind of the start of something that.
And I just gotta say, your whole family, everybody in your family is always ripped. They're always in great shape. Doesn't matter if they're 25 or 60 something. They're always in good shape.
It's fun.
And I gotta say, the energy and the vibe of the people within your life, you can tell they're healthy.
Yeah.
They work on their health. Life happens, as we know, but there's like this sense of just connection and love and just this well-roundedness to your family. At least that I've noticed.
Yeah, and other people have said that.
Well, they're not gonna. The feedback's not gonna go on.
Yeah. So, really, a lot of the credit there needs to go to my grandfather. So my grandfather was a chiropractor.
I think I could use some.
Yeah. So this was, he's passed now a while ago. So.
Well, not necessarily him, but oh dang it.
But he, this was a different time, right? Chiropractors weren't very commonly known, and they didn't get a lot of respect. And he fought very hard to get. Actually, he was the lead man on the effort to get chiropractors accepted in the state of New York legally as medical professionals. And he fought until that happened, and he was like the front man on that. But so not only did he understand chiropractic, but he was huge into full holistic health, nutrition, and nutrition specifically. So he was again a natural teacher, right? So he always taught and taught and taught. So we were surrounded by someone who was just preaching all this important information constantly. Sometimes some may argue too much.
But he walked the walk. Did he take his own advice?
Absolutely. He was a very inspiring man for me, and he's actually even become more inspiring since he's passed, and since I've become an adult. My reflection on my time spent with him and the lessons that he's taught.
Wow.
Both the things that he did so well, which I try to emulate, but also a lot of things that he. You learn both sides. You see what he did well. You see where he could have potentially done a little better as a teacher, and and stuff where, like I said, just people would, be a little more receptive. But anyway, that's.
But you're human.
We're all
you're
human,
gonna,
right? So you want to learn both
even
sides.
mentors in your life. Sometimes you want to paint them as being perfect human beings. At the end of the day, they're human
Right.
as well.
And it's been really beneficial for me to follow in his footsteps. Take what I see as that really serves my mission also.
And incorporate that into
my work.
So tell us what it ultimately led to and what you're doing now. And it's called the 23rd hour, 23 hour.
Yeah. So in the fitness world, there's this kind of like, as a fitness coach would know, or a personal trainer, that we call it like the 23-1 rule. You get to work with a client for an hour a day, but for the other 23 hours they're on.
What are they
their own,
doing?
right?
Yeah.
And for clients who try to really get people to, coaches that really try to get their clients to make real transformation, a big breakthrough, what gets done in that hour many times goes to waste based on how they're living the other 23 hours. So my company specifically, since there's so many people in this world that are focusing on that 1 hour, thousands and thousands and thousands of coaches, brands, companies, mentoring services, whatever, focus on that hour, the training itself. We're the only company in the world that focuses specifically on the other 23 hours. And it doesn't mean we just give you some little things to do for them. It's like we focus 100% on lifestyle optimization. So nutrition, sleep, mindset, stress regulation, lifestyle design. That means morning routines, night routines, all of these things. Understanding the how and the why behind it all, but then also coaching them. We coach coaches to be able to help their clients rebuild their lifestyle to optimize every minute of their day. So it complements what they do for fitness.
So if you have that ignorant person that comes up and says, because I can imagine, I'm sure you've gotten millions of people like this, right? Where they say, okay, well, how am I billing? I'm billing for that 1 hour they're in. That's when I'm making money. And you have people that's how they view it, right? They view, what am I making money on, right? And they focus in on that time when they're in. A lot of people don't care. A lot of the trainers, not all, but a lot of people, if you want to sign up, you sign up. They make money. You're working out. They're not so concerned. But why should business owners that own gyms and fitness centers be concerned about those other 23 hours?
Well, it really comes down to the fact whether or not they're going to actually get the results that you want and actually make the life transformation. If you want to just trade a few bucks for an hour for training, that's one thing. But if you're dedicated to actually going and helping people change their lives, we many of us as coaches and fitness trainers, we know the importance of fitness. And we emphasize that it could be like one of the most important things. But you start to realize after a while that it's not the only thing. So if you want to really make change and really be of value, you want to be able to provide value to your clients, make good money for yourself, first help them make real, serious life transformation. And then make the money for yourself that you deserve for helping on that kind of level, where you're no longer just a service, but you're not a service provider, you're a solution provider. I help you solve problems in your life, things that you deal with every single day, things that affect other people in your life. How you sleep and eat and your mood, your mindset, that doesn't just affect you. It's who you are as a husband, wife, brother, sister, whatever. Wow. So we're helping them solve bigger problems and make bigger impact and bigger income.
And I really love and I appreciate how you look at the whole picture, because there's so many pieces to the puzzle. I'm big into my spirituality. I know your father is and your family is as well. It's so important to look at all the pieces. If you focus just on the physical fitness, but not your sleep and not your nutrition, things are out of whack.
Absolutely.
And you're looking at the whole picture. And when you help a gym owner not just focus on that 1 hour and then the business, but how is your client eating, how they're sleeping, you're going to see results faster and bigger results, because they're not just making changes within that 1 hour, they're changing their whole life in a way.
Absolutely. And balance is what we talk about. And I know balance doesn't sound exciting. People are like, oh yeah, balance, cool.
Well, the yin and the yang is part of
right, exactly. So we hear balance and like, meh, it's not sexy, it's not exciting, but balance, if we were truly balanced, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually,
that's pretty sexy.
Yeah, you're gonna feel. That would feel so good that you would never go back to your old ways. Yeah. So we help people really balance all those things, because if you're just physical all the time and you're blocking out the mental stuff that's going on, blocking out what's going on here in your heart, and you're burying emotional stuff, and you're not aligned spiritually of like what you really want out of your life and where you want to go, and all that's out of whack, no amount of reps in gym and time and hours in the gym is going to
that.
fix those problems.
Absolutely.
And you're going to, you know, so many people need just to start with fitness. If they haven't been gotten off the couch in a few years, if they're stuck in the slump, if they're not good. Just get you moving, get you breathing, get you sweating a couple times a week, start there, great. But after a year or so, or probably less even, you realize that takes you only so far and you have to start now filling in the gaps.
Perfect. And we're going to take a pause because my microphone went out.
Okay,
It was
cool.
perfect because I think your phone also died. Intermission.
Yeah.
So when you start working with these businesses and help them develop a plan for the other 23 hours, what does that look like? Because people, I feel like when I heard of it, and I feel like other people, they think of, okay, are you building nutrition plans? Are you building workouts? Like, how does that work?
Fantastic question. So actually what we do is we help them put together a system, right? Because I could take a coach and I could give them a bunch of knowledge. I could teach them about nutrition. I could teach them about sleep. I could teach them about mindset. But then when they go back to their clients, their gym, wherever they work, or go online, whatever, they still, you know, they don't know where to start. How do I help someone go from, you know, start at day one? You know, what's step one look like for them? What's, you know, I can see Z, but what's A, B, C look like? You know, how do I get it going? And so we help them build a sequential and structured program so they can take a client. So if you're a client of mine, I see you in the gym every day or very frequently, and we start talking, we start realizing you're hitting some slumps, you're feeling plateaued, things aren't clicking all on all cylinders, and I start asking about, you know, your lifestyle, like, you know, I'm not sleeping well, you know, nutrition's it's okay, you know, like I haven't had a lot of as much motivation lately, time, you know, whatever. It's just not adding up to what you want it to be. I now have a system where we start with assess, just like any other fitness program. We assess, then we have a very, you know, we kind of have like a phase one where we start with just like some general basic habits and education that goes along with it. So there's always two parts. There's education and then execution. So I'm teaching you the how and the why, and then we're giving the tools to actually execute. So we start with some general stuff. Then we move into like a more individualized phase, right, where we like really pick apart some specific problems, and then in the third phase we start to really teach you how to maintain it and not need me anymore, right? I don't want you to
be dependent.
I don't want you to need me for the rest of my life. I mean, if you need me to help you with these things forever, then I'm doing something wrong.
That's
right? I'm not educating you. So we teach what we call once and for all programs. So we teach you how to do it once and for all. I'm going to take you through this transformation, 12 weeks, step by step, where I'm going to bring you to what we call the new day one. You know what I mean? It's like you've revamped all this stuff. You've got your food together. We don't do meal plans, but we teach people how to eat intuitively, understand what works for them, understand what doesn't. If they have a bad day, how to get back on track. So if I just hand you a meal plan, that doesn't really prepare you for the future, right? Get your sleep habits in order. Get your night routines in order. We do a lot of stuff with technology, as far as meaning like breaking the addiction, breaking the addictions to social media and being addicted to your phone. And anyway, we get all these habits in order, teach you how to maintain it and not need me anymore. And after that's why they're a transformation program. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, it makes a ton of sense. And I like how you're kind of looking at the whole picture approach. And you're not rushing it. And you also made a comment before. You're not just teaching them, but you're not just talking, but you're actually giving them tools to now apply it.
Yes.
Because I'm a learner where if you just tell me to read textbook pages, this and this, okay, I'm not interested in that type of learning.
No.
I want you to demonstrate. This is how works. This is how this works. This is how you can incorporate it.
Absolutely. And nobody really learns like that.
Yeah.
Like we can tell you, I can drown you in statistics, in science, and information. But that's not how people, like if someone, for example uses that, if someone's a cigarette smoker, right, and they're having trouble with addiction, I can tell them, I can list a million studies that show why you shouldn't, and I can tell them all these things, that what's going to happen. They know that. That's not how we make change, right? So what we actually need to teach with most is our own experience. So my coaches, before they can go help someone else, we help them first optimize their own lifestyle. Right, so when a coach comes on board during the first phase, I'm just helping them with their own life, get their own things in order. Because even as coaches, we have so much room for improvement.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we work on our own nutrition, our own sleep, and then we can help someone through that same process and teach from our experience. And we don't have to be perfect. We can say, hey, I'm still actually struggling with this, but it's gotten so much better since I started. Here's what I did. Here's what worked. Here's what I found to be the key. Here's what took me a long, this part took me a long time to really master, but I can help you get there faster, right? So that's our real value as a coach, is from our own experience.
And I can relate to that in so many ways because, as Paul Vibes, people think I'm always going to be good vibe, positive vibes. But to me, and tell me, I would love to hear what you think about this. To me, having good vibes and being who I am, it's being honest with how you feel and being vulnerable, right? If I'm having a bad day, even though I have this image of Paul Vibes as people look at me, to me, living a healthy life is being able to go to professionals when I need help, going to go to coaches like you. And how important is for you when you work with businesses and individuals to have honest, open, and vulnerable people?
It is.
And
Sorry,
please,
is that the
please.
end of the question?
Yeah.
It is so important. In fact, it's been a big theme just this week. I called a meeting with all of the coaches in my program from all over the country. We have over 20, 25 different states represented from all over. And I said, we're all getting on one call. We need to talk. And what the topic was me. No, it wasn't like that. It was me saying, it was me pointing at myself to say, I can do better as a leader, and I need to be more vulnerable. I need to be able to show you. I'm not perfect. I was never trying to claim that I was perfect.
But a lot of people may have perceived you because
you're
a leader.
And a few people had made comments that triggered things of like, oh, well, it's easy for you, or this or that. And I'm like, no. Like, all of these systems I put together were things that I discovered for my that worked for myself because I was struggling.
Wow.
I was struggling. I was stressed. I wasn't sleeping well. I wasn't prioritizing my sleep. I wasn't prioritizing my nutrition. I was running this business that was so busy with the gym. I was just stressed out, and I had to stop and reset and go back and rebuild my lifestyle step by step. And now I teach people how to do the same thing, but I have to teach from that experience. Talk about where I struggled. Talk about the downs. And say, hey, like, when people are really stuck, I'm like, hey, I was in the same spot 3 years ago, but I did X, Y, Z every single day and whatnot.
Amazing.
And for anybody out there who's in any sort of coaching, we have to lead with our imperfections. That's our story is what we're valuable. I was speaking with a life coach just the other day, and he had overcome a ton. He was a young coach. He's got a doctorate, all these great things going for him, makes good money and all this stuff, but he used to deal with addiction issues, substance abuse. And he was so worried about he didn't want his clients to find out. Like he's like if they know about all that stuff, he wasn't lying to them, but he was just like I feel just like if they find out about the stuff, like how can they trust me? How can they trust me when I used to have addiction issues? I'm like, I told him, like, man, that should be the first thing you talk about. That's your story, right? Yeah. That's what you should be leading with. And it was funny because I was giving them advice, but I still sometimes miss it for myself. I need to hear that myself and remember that too. But that's our value as coaches, and anybody in the world can coach anybody and help them with any problem if they've been in the struggle and they've reached success. If they've gone from A to B, they can help anyone who's stuck at A get to B. And anyone, it doesn't matter if you're a coach or not, you can you have value if you can show someone where they are, and you can help them get to a better place. And it doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Maybe you're a 7 out of 10 on something. Maybe financially you got out of debt and all this stuff, whatever, and you're still not great, but you're at like a 6 or 7 out of 10. Not perfect, you're not the world's leading expert, but if you can help someone who's at a 2 get to a 5, you can change their life, right? You can have a major impact. Wow. So if someone who's in a bunch of debt, has spending habits and credit card, doesn't know what to do, and you can coach them through a sequential step-by-step system to do what you did to get,
use your story to help with
use
that.
my story. This is where I was 18 months ago, and this is what I did every day, every week, and every month. And now I'm debt-free. Whatever your skill is that whatever struggle you've overcome, it's now a business. If you can demonstrate that value.
And just to say, when I met with you and how open you were with your story, and my mentors and people in my life, those people that can be 100%. And like I said, not like that person was hiding it, but those people who do the opposite, where they own their story, they're able to fully share it without being embarrassed and actually use it. Like, hey, listen, I've been through this stuff. That's why I'm so motivated, inspired to help other people.
Yes.
And you build this trust with your friends, with clients, and people you meet in your life, because they see that you're being vulnerable. When I'm hesitating to let out different parts of my life, it shows that I'm ashamed. And we even though there's dark things that we all go through, when you have that openness, like, these are the terrible things I've been through, but I'm choosing to transform it. And I talk about transmutation. It sounds like you do similar stuff. Is like how to turn once negative, right? And we've talked about with Danny, we've talked about with my learning disability, is like I could have dwelled in that negativity. And I'm sure there's people that you work with that are in such dark places with their health, with their wellness and financial, that they feel so broken.
Yeah, exactly. And what I realized too is the more, every time I'm not fully authentic, and anytime I maybe hold stuff back, or I'm still worried about trying to be appear perfect, somebody else is suffering, right? Like I'm not helping them as good as I could be, and there's people that need me to help, and I need to be fully authentic in order to really help on the level or reach the people I want. Because like you said, you're attracted to the mentors that have been through the trenches, right? That have done the work, not the people that are just have it all perfect, right?
Yes.
We're not inspired by that. We're inspired by people who have overcome adversity. Yes. And then so the more open I am about the adversity that I've overcome and the things I've gone through to get where I am, I'm going to attract people that need me and be in a position to help them.
Wow.
And so when I realize when I'm holding back, they're suffering.
And just as we slowly close, I want to ask you, like, what is the first step? Because obviously your plan is multi-layered. It's a very dynamic plan that you work with individuals. But what is like the first step that you could share in regards to confidence? Confidence.
Okay. Yep.
And because confidence is something that people, they need to build the confidence up to do it. And it seems like you're all about working with the plant individual, the gym owners, the people, and really helping them build up their confidence to do the things they do. But how do you go about that as a coach?
So, to be honest, one of the best ways to build confidence is to just start making some simple changes, right? Because and someone else may need to help you with that, and that's okay. But when we start making changes in our daily life, and they're very small little habits and behaviors, but throughout the day, we usually have around a dozen or so times a day where we have to choose whether it's what to eat, when to go to sleep, if we should watch TV or not, whatever. And we have these like dozen or so decisions every day that either move the needle forward, right, like move us forward, or move us back. And when we're not motivated, and we're off, and we're not confident, and we're hurting, we're slumping, we're usually making the wrong choice. But so as soon as we just start making the right choices, right? Like if I start having a glass of water first thing in the morning instead of a cup of coffee or something, whatever you struggle with, or both first, right? Or I'm actually getting to the gym, like just one step, right?
Yes.
So what happens is every time we subconsciously start to see, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I care. I'm caring about myself. I'm taking care of myself. And the body feels it. It sees that you're doing the right things. It sees you're going a little extra effort. It sees you're ignoring the temptations. And the body starts to feel electric charge, right? It starts to feel good. And this is why when people start new diets or whatever, before they lose a pound, before anything changes, they start feeling really good. Because emotionally and spiritually and mentally, we start to fire up. And then we start to get the confidence and we go from, I think I might be able to do that, or I could probably do that if I put my heart into it or whatever. We go from that to I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And then it gets louder. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And every day that goes by, I'm doing it. And we start to go from a few habits to more habits to then, most of our habits move us forward every day. And then we start to actually also lose the weight and gain the strength and whatever we're working on. But the confidence comes from watching ourselves, observing ourselves actually make the changes.
Yeah. I like what you said about the little victories too. It's like celebrating the little victories, right? Because that 20 pounds of weight may take some time, but there's so many little victories along the way. Getting to the gym, and even myself, sometimes I'm hard on myself about not accomplishing all my goals. But even just celebrating the little things, getting up early, getting in the shower, getting that email, cleaning my email list out, cleaning my inbox, doing these little things, getting podcasts done, and being motivated during it. Those little things motivate me on to the next day.
Yeah, sorry.
No, please.
I was gonna say we have to take the emphasis off the outcome and emphasize the process. So if we want to lose 20 pounds and we haven't had a gym membership in a year, once we go and sign up for the gym, that's celebration number one. We should be feeling good. Check that box. Give yourself a high five, because it's probably been a lot of limiting beliefs holding you back for the last year of why you haven't.
High five now.
Yeah, there you go. So you celebrate every little win. Then when you actually show up for your first class or whatever, you celebrate again. Then when you start choosing the water instead of soda at lunch, you celebrate again. And the 20 pounds, you don't just celebrate when you get to the 20 pounds. The little celebration starts. The process is what you emphasize, not the outcome.
Cool.
Even if you lose 17 pounds instead of 20, guess what? You're still in way, way better position than you were, right?
There's so many little victories, getting that healthy smoothie instead of that shake, going for that walk instead of just sitting home playing video games or whatever you might do. As we close up, I just want to know, for people who are watching this, I'm going to include the links to your profiles, but where can people find you? Where are you active on social media, website, all that good stuff?
On social media, I have my personal account is B Costello, Brian B Costello, with 4 underscores. I don't, it's more like family, whatever stuff. At least recently, because now I've my business page is where I put all this stuff.
And where's that?
Excuse me, sorry.
It's the creative. I gave him all these drinks before he came in.
The business page is O23, like the letter O, 23 _ coaching _ system.
Perfect.
And whether you are a fitness coach, health coach, life coach, practitioner, chiropractor, PT, whatever, and you want to be able, and people come to you for help, and that what you do helps part of what they need, but you want to complete that package and be able to offer a program that helps them transform the rest of their life, and do it in a way where they make life-changing transformation, you make life-changing income, because it's half of it is a business mentorship, we coaching and business. And really remodel your business, or maybe go online. We do it all. We teach people how to do it remote. So if you're looking to up-level your business and take your career to the next level by helping people, you want to help people in any way and make a business out of it, talk to us, and that's what we do.
And amazingly, when you do that, people aren't going to just look at the gyms as somewhere to work out. They're looking at it, that full kind of all the pieces of the puzzle. And what you're saying is there's so much more than just working out with a fitness trainer or gym. There's that other 23 hours. And I got to say, from someone who's chatted with you many times and seen the type of person you are, you could tell that you're wholesome. You look at the full picture. You don't go, Paul, this is the one magic pill, this is the one thing, because we know that's not realistic, but that's what people want.
Right.
And unfortunately, that doesn't give results, right? So what you're saying is by doing all these little things, you will slowly have those little victories that eventually lead to those big goals.
Absolutely. There's never just one thing. This is a culmination of all of it. So we actually do a lot of work, though, too, in the course where we really look at our big goals, right? We look at them, the big picture, but we work it all the way down and say, what does this look like? What are the little daily actions and habits I have to do every day that will compound and make me reach that goal? Because, getting to that goal isn't one thing. It's it's consistency every day, little habits, little forward momentum, and it builds and builds and builds.
What's that saying? You aim for the stars, so then whatever you fall, it's still. What's that saying? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Even if you miss, you still whatever. You hit the moon or something.
You aim so far out there. We're gonna butcher this. People are gonna listen to the blooper reel right here. You aim so far that even if you miss the farthest star, you're still gonna land out there.
Right.
And the point what I mean by that is you set big goals, realistic goals, but it's big goals. And throughout the way, there's so many other goals along the way that are just as important, if not more, if anything. Because it's always, I'm big into living in the present moment, spirituality, something Eckhart Tolle, he talks a lot about. And every interaction I had with you and your father, your family, you guys are always, you're human, but you guys always have this presence when you're talking to people. And I can tell that just being your friend and getting to know you, is you're always present. I can't imagine when you're working in someone in the business how focused you are on their success. Like their success is your success. At least that's how I think.
Absolutely, I'm glad you said that. And first of all, I appreciate the comments. And when I'm working with a client, one of the I have these little mantras, and I have these times I work with a client. It's always I have nowhere to be but here. I have nowhere to be but here. I'm here. It's not about me. It's about them and their business. And it is why when we do a personal mentorship, we work in groups, but most of the mentoring is done one-on-one. We're working on your business, your clients, your program, your prices, whatever it is. It's all about you. We don't hand templates.
Custom
Yeah, it's
made.
not about handing out templates and saying, hey, do this. It's like, what do you need? What are you working on? Where are you stuck? Why do you think you're stuck? What have you tried? What has worked? What hasn't? How long has this been going on? Is this a priority? How important is it to fix this? And if you don't see it, maybe I think, this is important, more important than this or whatever. It's very, very individualized, and people come out the other end with a custom program that's it's their coaching system, it's their business that reflects them, not us. We don't give you our stuff and say, hey, put your name on this.
It's not a
it would be
cookie
Paul Vibes Life Coaching or
Amazing.
whatever. Not Brian's thing coached by Paul. You know what I mean? It's all your stuff, and
Amazing.
we help people build it. And I know the more coaches I help, the more I help them, the more they can help the people that need
Amazing.
it. And they can reach more people than I can myself.
Appreciate it. And I'm going to leave all your links. I think that we talked a lot of great stuff. I'd love to have you on. I love your energy. If
Cool.
you ever want to interview someone on the podcast or do your own thing segment here, it'd be an honor to watch that and support you. And I just appreciate, like I said, having you as a friend, as a mentor. No pressure. Hope that doesn't put any pressure on you. But,
Okay.
I want to surround myself with people like you who are successful, who have a great family, that have great values. And I'm just very lucky and grateful to have made that connection. And,
Thanks, man.
And at the end, we always send good vibes to the viewers. Anything else you want to leave the people watching with?
I guess what I would say is just kind of emphasize the one point again, because I know your audience is a little bit mixed, where not everybody might be a coach or a teacher or mentor. Yes. But really ask yourself about what you're passionate about, what experiences you've had, what's your story,
Story,
and what skill sets you have, and where they all intersect. Because where that intersects, you're going to be excited about that, and you're able to help other people with that same overcome those same problems. And people need help. People are stuck in all different things, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, whatever. There's people that are stuck that need help. They don't need you to be perfect. They don't need you to be the world's leading expert. But if you can help them get from A to B, you can build a business and you can help the people that need you. And you have more power there than you realize, and it's a very, very fulfilling and rewarding career. And if you need help, I can definitely help out. But it starts of course by accepting that we are valuable and can help.
And I think I'm gonna have to start taking you on my talks, man.
Yeah.
Be a motivational speaker. I'm serious. I'm not joking. I sometimes have guessed, and what you're saying here, I feel like is so important, not just for people in the fitness industry, just as human beings.
Right.
And on that note, bringing in some love. Here we go.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Send some good
This was
vibes to the viewers, and I hope to have you back on
I'd love to come back anytime.
the podcast, man.
Cool.
Great vibes. Hope you enjoyed
This is awesome.
time here, man.
Love the studio, man. Really, really cool setup.
We'll have
See
more
you
of
guys.
Brian. We'll see him soon.
Yeah, it's good to be alive, and we all want to see you thrive. Hang on for the ride. This is Paul Vibes, bringing you a spiritual flow and information that can remedy the soul. A man for the people, message in a bottle, but he threw it in a podcast. Now it's full throttle.